My Little Underground. I'm Peter A. So glad to welcome back Oliver Ackerman of A Place to Bury Strangers. He's back on the show to talk about the 13th anniversary of the band's second album, Exploding Head. And the album is getting the full remaster treatment. And it's also the first anniversary of Oliver's label, Dedstrange. So we talk about all the successes there and the future plans for the label and so much more. It's always good to catch up with my man Oliver Ackerman of A Place to Bury Strangers right here on My Little Underground. I'm kind of glad like we're talking now because you know that we didn't talk when See Through You came out because you have Exploding Head remastering. Like, oh great,
Yeah.
I'll talk to Oliver about two things. So that being said, I was at the See Through You release show at Music Hall Williamsburg in
Sick.
July when you
Cool.
had when John and Sandra were with you. You know, we were talking about band chemistry, and I saw that show. I'm like, it was like you guys been playing forever. It's like they've been around since the first album.
Oh, yeah.
It was everything was like smooth like butter. It was
Awesome.
it was unbelievable.
Cool, man. Thank you.
What I know you probably have a high standard for yourself when you put together a show. Like over the years, has that standard grown or has it waned a little bit?
I mean, I'm the type of person who's not a good partner to work with. I'm the type of person who's always like, we could always do better. We could always like make some other crazier thing, oh, I'm always every single time there's like band practice, I got like 10 different crazy stupid ideas I want to try of things. I'm like, what if we took the amplifier and ran it through the drum set, like some crazy thing. And it's like so often they're not necessarily the best ideas, but it's fun, to try all that stuff out. And but it's like I feel like there's always so many like artists who are like just incredible. And I mean, maybe they've just like practiced their whole life or whatever it is, but you see someone who's like virtuous at the piano or the violin, or you go maybe it's a curse of living in New York too. You go to the opera or something and you're like, damn, like I am terrible, I gotta catch up. I gotta, work up on making something that's at like par with these kind of things in these moments where you get sort of your mind blown. And so that's kind of what the goals are. But I'm also still come from like such a kind of punk background where it's like I don't want to have any like preconceived, set plan, or like even if practice this stuff so much so that you're like so virtuous. And I'm not going to take singing lessons. I'm not going to, read chord books or anything to like really help out what I should do, but I want to be like push exploration and push these kind of things that you could do from the perspective of like just being some people who are getting together trying to have fun with this stuff. So maybe it's weird or something or whatnot, but I also, I just love doing this stuff. I love hearing sounds. I love hearing the sound of, any instrument in any context and seeing what you can kind of do with it, and how you can change sounds and listening for something you never heard before. And all that stuff is just kind of like thrilling and exciting to me. So, mm.
Well, I feel that because in your little weirdo second half of your show, you were in that box, Sandra's in that box, and you're in the box too and playing guitar weird, and I can't hear I'm Hurt the same way again. Every time every time I listen to the actual recording, I think about your performance. I'm like, oh my God, like this song is like engraved in my head now because I heard it done. I heard it like
Oh,
turned inside out live, and now I can't hear it the same way again. If that
awesome.
was your intention, you succeeded.
Cool, man. That's really cool because for me, that's the same experience with like different songs. There's like this one Mazzy Star song, which I just remember from the live show, which was just so insane that it's like I'm always like kind of wanting or wishing for that sort of moment or that feeling that I got. Same thing with like a Dinosaur Jr. song and like stuff. It's like those times when you're at some show and it just the sound and everything just totally moves you and like rips your face off of some sort of cool insanity. Or and it doesn't sound the same on the recording, but when you hear the recording, it makes me remember that, like, part of the song or something where it's like your guts are being ripped out or whatever, or you're pulling on your heartstrings or something. It's cool, man. So that's amazing you had, if at all, even a similar experience or something. That's cool.
Yep, and
Like,
Mind Control. That's another one where I don't hear it the
sick.
same way again. It's like when I hear the song, I'm like I'm transported to that Aviv show in 2016. So,
Yeah. Oh yeah,
so
awesome.
that was
Oh
nutty.
cool, man.
So the release show for C Through You was rescheduled from March due to Omicron, and now that you have all these international dates lined up, is like would this COVID still have this still kind of weigh on you? Like, okay, because it's probably not as easy to reschedule an Asian leg as it is to reschedule one New York show.
Yeah, I mean, even things like Japan, I think just opened up like a few weeks ago or something before we're even kind of going. So that was, I guess, potentially up in the air. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like, I mean, I'm feel so lucky to be able to get the chance to do any of this stuff. So, we just go for it. And if there's the chance to do it, um, we'll take it, we'll be honored to go and try our hardest to kind of make this sort of thing happen. Um, I don't know if I don't want other people to get sick or something. So it's like that's the concern. If I get sick, and I've already had coronavirus twice, it was not that fun, but um I hopefully I can drink lots of fluids and exercise or something and make my way through it again. If not, it's like there's that balance of like how much do you want to kind of be enjoying or continuing on with your life, and what even is your life. And a lot of that, I think, for me, is like being around other people and learning their experiences, and kind of seeing what the stuff is going on of all that. So if I can get those opportunities, I'm going to try to do it, but I guess all within some bit of reason with safety. But you've seen our show. I mean, sometimes there's things which aren't the safest that go on at the shows too. So, but I'm not, I don't mind too much putting myself in harm's way. I don't want to hurt anybody else. So.
Yeah, I feel bad for your guitars though, because
Yeah,
by song two, it's already
that was it.
ripped
There we
apart.
go. Yeah.
It's I don't know how you do that, but whatever. I'm not gonna peel
Yeah.
back the curtain on that end. It's
There-
just
there's no magic. You just smash it.
it's no magic.
Yeah.
So Dead Strange, I want to congratulate you on the anniversary of Dead
Cool.
Strange. It's a
Thank you.
year old, almost
Yeah.
over a year old now. So are
Yeah.
you proud of your label's first year?
Yeah, it's incredible, really. I can't believe all of the cool acts that we put out and all of that stuff is so awesome. Like, um, there's times when you're like, oh man, I wish we were doing more. Or you see other record labels who had like, 70 releases in the year or something, but it's, it's just mostly Steve and I who are doing this stuff. So, Mitch as well in Berlin is doing it as well. But, it's, we're just trying our hardest to kind of I didn't realize like even how much work it even was to just kind of keep up and actually just put out the releases. So there's a lot of like logistical things and contacting people to write like digital press sheets and these kinds of things, and putting together graphics which nobody's going to see but is going to be in like the distributor's catalog and all this crazy stuff, which is helping these bands sell the records. And you can see that happens, and it's attractive to like record stores to buy this stuff, and you're kind of helping and facilitate make that happen, or people get on the radio and all over the place. And so that's kind of what a lot of that stuff is. And it's really cool. It's cool to be able to do that and have that kind of part in it. And I think that it's even really helps out all of these sort of bands being, commingled with each other. It's like people who are like a fan of Plattenbau will be like, oh, this band Lunacy is so sick or something. So it's so neat to kind of, help make those connections with that kind of stuff. And I think as far as record labels go, I feel like we're pretty proactive. So and doing this stuff, even though it seems like you could still always do more. We like you'll be like, oh man, we missed that opportunity to do this or that or whatever, but you just can't do everything, so I'm trying as hard as I can push these bands to their stuff out to all those kind of outlets that are like behind the scenes, and and that kind of stuff as much as possible, because I think that they're great bands, so it's cool to you know be able to help out all these awesome people.
Yeah, and Watt together. Oh man, that
Sick,
band,
so good. Oh
special
my
band.
goodness. Yeah,
Love
totally,
them.
for sure. You seen them play?
Yeah, I saw them at
Awesome.
Zone One at
Oh, cool.
Elsewhere in March.
Oh, cool.
It was really cool. It was awesome. They're great,
Awesome.
and
Heck
they
yeah.
were on the show, and were delightful to talk to. Very entertaining.
So great.
Yeah,
So great.
they're
Yeah,
just
yeah,
good people.
for sure.
Um, is there anything, because you said, is there anything that you think you can improve upon Dead Strange, and what are some of your 2022 and beyond plans for Dead Strange that you want to share?
I mean, we're just kind of working with some other artists and sort of like kind of doing these second albums for some of these people, or continuing albums for this stuff. And so, I mean, you just kind of, as time goes on, you just sort of hone in what you're doing and just try to figure out easier ways that you can do stuff, find out things that you're kind of um I wish I could get people like cooler shows and stuff and kind of bring up bars about some kind of like that underground scene of things. Like I miss all of those, like warehouse shows and all of that, or like weird art events and stuff. So maybe I can connect some of that kind of stuff together a little bit more, would be cool, I think. And we even did like a Dedstrange showcase at a festival in Germany, and then we also did one on the A Place to Bury Strangers and tour, and those were like really cool. But that was a lot easier because there was like A Place to Bury Strangers and like three Dedstrange bands all there at the same time, so it made it kind of easier. Um, and so I know that I think there's going to be like maybe a Dedstrange showcase for New Colossus Festival, hopefully. So that would be sick. And so just even those kind of things, I'd love to come out with maybe even some comps, like a comp record or something of bands that aren't even on the label, but bands that are just like awesome New York bands, and who are doing cool stuff. And I think I don't know, I'm always down to like donate a song for someone who's making a comp. I'm sure people would be psyched to do that. It's like it's always sick, those curated comps, and you always get like some weird stuff that you wouldn't get somewhere else. So I don't know, I like those weird records that I have, like a couple of those strange compilations of things, like um all the bands that played at Vero Groningen, or that kind of stuff. So I don't know, cool thing.
Yeah. And Summerland Records put out a comp not too long ago with now defunct Fortuna Pop, the Continental Drift compilation. I still listen to it a lot to this day.
Oh
Like
yeah,
that
heck
kind
yeah.
of stuff is just
So
it's
cool,
amazing.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know what I found really cool? Like this late this summer, there was the Brooklyn record flea market in
Oh yeah.
Williamsburg, and just talking to labels that really are like City Slang. I was at their booth and just seeing how these people like really love music. And you were saying last time you were on here, like, some of these people, they just love music, and that's so true. I literally saw that. Do you ever plan to have Death Strange appear at some of these record fairs?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, I mean, just even as of now, we're even just getting in some of these records. I think I always thought before, what would I do at a record fair with like three A Place to Bury Strangers records and then like only three other records. So now we're starting to
Yeah.
get up some more records, so maybe we'll do something coming up soon.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Um Exploding Head, 13 years. Now, why this album? Why is this album getting the remaster treatment? And why 13 years? Because I'm thinking, because maybe this is the kind of person I am. Like the first album is 15 years, and most bands that they'll put out they'll reissue 10th anniversary, 15th, 20th, 25th. Why 13 and why Exploding Head?
Yeah, I mean, just it's because BMG wanted to do it, and so we were like, yeah, let's go for it. That seemed kind of like we thought that we would be doing like maybe a pretty hands-off approach, like, oh great, they're just gonna re-release the record. And it's turned out where we've been having to do still again, it's like another record campaign. It's cool stuff. We're putting together all sorts of crazy things for it. But it just seemed like, everything's always 10 year or 20 year or whatever. I figured 13, there we go. That's cool. It's unlucky year, may as well embrace that kind of stuff. So I thought that seemed cool. Um, and yeah, so we just kind of went with it. It's like, and there was, I thought that it was kind of cool to release some of this stuff that hadn't really come out before. And then all of this stuff is now on a vinyl, some of those like covers and whatnot. And yeah, I don't know. Just seemed kind of like there was that interest. Exploding Head was always one of those records that we like, they were always kind of like repressing, and we never had that often on tour. So people would always sort of ask for it. So I feel like that was one of the ones that everybody kind of wanted to get their hands on again. So when they said that they wanted to do, in talks of reissue, remaster, you know, I was like, yeah, let's have 13 years whenever that comes about. So this is it.
Was 2009 an important year to you musically?
Yeah, I mean, it was such a crazy time in my life. We had like sort of, and really kind of fit in somehow with all of this stuff. With the success of that first record, it's like my life had been kind of changed of being someone who was, really not very confident and kind of given up on a lot of, and actually being a serious musician in a lot of ways, or a career musician or whatever it is. So to have that kind of stuff happen and being playing these festivals and doing all this crazy stuff and touring around the world, I was like, oh wow, okay, it kind of like revitalized, like here's a chance to do something, with the music. Like people might actually listen to this record if we, put in some sort of effort. And there was all this options to work with some other people and do some other kind of cool creative things. And then, we got signed to Mute Records. It was like so incredible to, all that crazy history of all those incredible bands and all this stuff that I totally loved. And um be meeting people like Daniel Miller and stuff, and doing all this stuff, getting to do like a Grinder Man remix and all this insane stuff was just like really, really cool. And it was, yeah, I don't know, it was right at that moment when there's so much kind of romance in the scene and everything too. There were still like warehouse shows and all of that, and still like a kind of really crazy, I feel like a kind of music scene in New York in a way, and lots of experimental music all over the world. And there was less Walmarts in the world, and less of all of that kind of stuff. So there was a kind of a really cool feeling, I think, going around, and that just um translated, I guess, in this record, and was cool time in my life and having lots of fun. I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah.
On side C and D of the remastered, there's rarities and covers. So that being said, like when you were making this album, how much fat trimming did you do? And you put out like a comp of rarities a few years back. Um, is this do you feel like this is the great time, like the opportune time to put out? Okay, I have a lot of stuff that I never shared. Now this is a great time to share this.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I think that it's kind of good enough, you know what I mean? There was even more
Yeah.
stuff that didn't make it on this record, and it was just, if there wasn't, I didn't think enough stuff to make a record, I probably wouldn't have come out with side C and D. But I think there was some cool stuff and some cool outtakes and all of that in this time period. And you definitely, I don't know, I'm the type of person who likes to record a lot of stuff and kind of go all over the map, and probably even record music that doesn't even fit in with A Place to Bury Strangers or anything like that. But and so you kind of, if these things kind of make sense with this project, then I kind of included that on that. And I think there was some kind of cool songs that just sort of even needed like a more tuned ear to finally mix. Like two of those songs on there, the kind of like the older versions were, maybe it was just like there was a bass guitar that was just so loud and overpowering the entire thing. So it's just like now, years later, listening to it, I was like, oh, I know how to make this song, sound normal or something, so
Yeah. It's kind of like your barbed wire kisses from
there
Mary
you go.
Jane.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Yeah, of course.
And that stuff is just as good as any of their their
It's
studio
like if
albums,
not
you
the
know?
best record or something. It's so cool.
Right?
I love
Right?
too how all that stuff is like it all comes from like different worlds and stuff.
Yeah,
So it's so
exactly.
cool. It's like I don't know. I've always thought of that as an inspiration, even when recording records and making music. It's like, I like that kind of stuff, how things sound so disjointed and so different. It really sounds cool. And I don't know. I think even for a little while, like because I had Barbed Wire Kisses first, I think on cassette, and I don't even think I realized that it was like a B-sides and compilation record. I just thought it was a sick album, So
Yeah,
then sometime later down the road, be like, oh yeah, that makes complete sense, But
yeah.
um, it seemed like a good dreamy idea to make a record where 1 minute you're in their bedroom, the next minute you're in their basement, the next minute you're at some studio, all those different things. Cool.
Yeah. The Stereo Lab is the same way.
Hell
They
yeah,
have
of
all
course.
those switched on compilations, those
Oh,
oscillation of this, like you're hearing
so
many
good.
different versions of songs you've heard a million times. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I've heard Ping Pong or Jenny on Deal Line, you know what I mean? But each of
Yeah.
them sound certain that, oh, there's one little trumpet that's louder than the, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? I
yeah,
love that stuff.
totally, totally.
I
No, it's
geek
so
out on
good.
stuff like
Yeah.
that. That's so cool. So Exploding Head was recorded at Death by Audio, right?
Yeah.
Is that right? So have you taken that DIY approach from 2009 till this day 2022?
Yeah, of course. I
Yeah.
mean, it's all because of really what happened with the first record, and I haven't turned back. It's like that record, when I moved to New York, I thought I was like, because I was in this band Skywave in Virginia, and we would, book tours and stuff like that, and they were very difficult to book, and it was very tough, and we would, like no label wanted to touch us pretty much, so you'd be like pressing your own 7-inch records, silk screening the covers, we'd burn CDRs and do all sorts of stuff. Basically, just putting all this stuff out yourself because there'd be just people who like the shows and it would be cool, but it was nothing where people would be kind of into it enough to kind of do stuff with us. And so I was like, okay, when I move to New York, I'm gonna like do it right. And so I was like, my plan was I was gonna wait, find some label that wanted to pay for me to go to some studio and record a proper album, because I'd been always recording stuff myself on whatever crazy gear or whatever I had, and just kind of, sort of writing it for my own self, this sound that I really wanted to hear and what was the vision. And so that's what the first album was. I didn't even want it to come out. And then when it came out, people liked it. And so then I was like, all right, I'm done. Never look back. I'll just do what I want to do, follow my heart, make some crazy noises if I want, make things sound crazy, just record wherever you can, whenever you can, and mostly all done ourselves on like either computers or 4-track cassette machines or all that kind of stuff.
So the Exploding Head reissue is going to be out October the 20th, and you're live streaming the entire. Oh, you're going to be performing the entire album the day
Yeah.
before, so the 19th.
So
So
yeah.
what are the logistics here? Like, where are you recording, and what is happening? Are you recording it, or is it just a live stream?
We're gonna record it,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna like at least paste together the different camera shots or something like that.
Wow.
I guess so. Yeah, because some of our friends are gonna be filming it. And so we've got that. We got a few people operating cameras and doing that stuff and trying to make it like kind of a little crazy party. Heather, my fiance, is going to be doing the visuals. So she's got, some cool projectors and stuff and maybe some surprises. We'll see.
Cool. So where are you going to film it? Like
Oh, we're
where?
going to do it at the studio here
Okay.
because it just makes the most sense, I think, at the it's like it'll be the easiest for us in terms of like all the insanity of all the things you got going on. just gonna this is like our kind of our little sort of cool cave to be away from everyone during the coronavirus and stuff. So it's yeah, we
That's
can do
cool.
whatever the heck we want.
Is it gonna be on like on socials or on Twitch? Or what do you? Where is it
I
gonna
have no
be?
idea,
Yeah.
man. Why are you asking me?
Oh man, all right. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter,
Somewhere it'll be
it'll
available.
be there. It'll find me. That's really
Yeah,
what
yeah,
happens.
there you go. Yeah.
Like that's how everything about like a place by strangers, it just finds me. Like,
Hey, I'm right on.
secret shows, somehow
Yeah,
I
yeah.
find out about it. I'll be
Okay.
walking down Ridgewood one street and be like, okay, the
Hey,
strangers
there we
have a new
go.
album out.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, do you ever think at this stage of your life, with Death by Audio behind you, do you ever, because how you're talking with Dedstrange, you still want to be, have a pulse on the underground music scene in New York and beyond? Do you ever think about ever restarting or doing another DIY music venue type of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to. It's I don't know how necessarily possible it is in the scope of New York. I mean, I guess we just kind of could, and then, if you get sort of shut down, then you get shut down. But it's like, I guess I would have to find other like-minded people who really want to do it. A lot of the people who are doing it in the past all either like left New York, and then it was at a different time in my life too, where it was like, you could find a place where you could live for $500 a month, with a bunch of people or something. And that's like what the kind of the situation sort of that we had. Um, and I don't know if that stuff is necessarily possible, or you wouldn't necessarily find the right people. It's like now I can afford something more expensive, perhaps, but are you going to find like a bunch of other people who are willing to risk it all and their kind of livelihood and stuff? I mean, I'll keep on trying or something, but there's something really magical about it being like kind of illegal, is what is part of like the charm of that kind of stuff. I think maybe since things are kind of coming back, maybe it's just a matter of like throw some shows in some alleyways or on the bridge or something, or something like that. Or if anyone's got a rooftop or something and wants me to have throw a show, let me know, so
Wow. All right, I guess I'll just look out my roof, look out the and see if Place Big
please,
Strangers are
Peter.
playing.
Yeah, if you hear, oh,
If you hear, oh, what,
here we
just keep
go.
slipping away. Is that it? Ah,
Yeah, there
that's
we
it.
go. Head down the block. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, the M train goes by. Oh, wait,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
Breathe.
perfect.
Never mind.
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Oliver, it's always good talking to
Cool.
you.
Heck yeah,
You're
you
always
too, Peter.
welcome on My Little
Thank you.
Underground. This is your
Awesome.
time. You can plug anything you got going on, anything that we didn't mention.
There's no point, Peter. I'll plug Peter. Listen to Peter. Heck yeah. He's the
All
best.
right. I appreciate
Yeah, heck
the ego boost and the self promotion. That's
yeah.
awesome.
Awesome.
Oliver, you're the man.
Dude,
Appreciate you.
love you. Heck
You
yeah.
have a good night and happy remaster and
Thank
happy
you so
1 year
much,
to
man.
Death
Awesome.
Strange.
Heck yeah. Awesome. Thanks so much, Peter.
All right, you're the
Always good to
man.
talk to you, dude, man.
Likewise, likewise.
You be good.